Daily tefillos are packed with various opportunities for us to be mechazik ourselves in the yanim of Amunah and Hashkacha. So one of such example is the Gemara in Brachos and Davdal. It says, Amar Rabbi Elazar, Amar Rabbi Avina, Kol Omer Tehilul David B'chol Yom, Shalosh Paimim Muftach Loshu Ben Olam Haba. The Gemara says anyone who says Tehilul David, Ashrei, 3 times every day, it's muftach that he's ben olam haba. The Gemara continues to explain what's the reason he's muftach. It's because it has the pasuk there. It's in the order of aleph beis, and it has the pasuk there of poseach es yadecha umasbil chol chai ratzon. That the pasuk that Hashem opens up His hand and provides for everybody in the world. So first of all, just it's an interesting nekuda. What does this mean that you're muftach lo shu ben olam haba? A person is guaranteed he goes to olam haba. All he does is say ashrei 3 times a day. So this is something that's discussed. There's 2 basic mahalchim to understand what this means. How could you be guaranteed just for saying Ashrei? So the Beis Yosef already quotes from the Sefer Oel Moed, and he says that, he quotes this Gemara, and he says that Lo Shehu Ben Olam Haba doesn't mean that his Muftach Olam Haba. Perish mitzvah zu machra'as. This mitzvah will be machriya. This mitzvah will push you over the edge if you need it. Aval mishum mitzvah zu bilvad einam ben olam haba. Don't think, a person shouldn't think just for this mitzvah a person can do whatever he wants his whole life, and he does this, he goes straight to olam haba. That's one interesting mahalach. The Mishnah Brura explained this in a different light. The Mishnah Brura, and this is not in the Siman Nun Aleph, we speak about Psukei D'Zimra Ashrei, but in Siman Aleph, in the Sif Katan Yud Gimel, the Mishnah Brura says, "Ve'ein dai ba'amira." It's not just enough to say Ashrei. Ela she is bonein mashu omer. A person has to be misbone, and a person has to introspect, he has to think carefully about what he says. V'yakir niflos Hashem, and he has to recognize the niflos of the Rebbeinu Shalom that provides from every instant. V'chein masha amru b'gemara. Kol Omer Tehilul David Gimel Pamim B'chol Yom Muftach Shu Ben Olam Haba Gam Kein Ba'ofen Zeh. So Mishnah Brura just saying this about something else. B'derech Agav, he throws in as a side point. He mentions that this Indian of that a person's a bon olam haba. It's if they're misboning, if they introspect, if they think about the message of Ashrei, they think about what it means. Poseach es yadech. If a person is actually makes his life dependent on their Rebbeinu Shalom and realizes everything's from Hashem, that's how a person gets that ma'ila of being a ben olam haba. And you get that through saying Ashrei 3 times a day with kavanah. The Shulchan Aruch tells us tzarich lechavin b'pasuk poseach es yadecha. A person has to have kavanah when they say this pasuk of poseach es yadecha. It's not enough just to say it. V'imlo kivein tzarich lachzor le'umro pamacheres. If a person did not have kavanah when saying the pasuk of poseach es yadecha, it's a halach in Shulchan Aruch. They have to go back and say it again. So if a person's in the middle of Ashrei and they're finishing up Ashrei, they're up to the pasuk of Tzadik Hashem or Karav Hashem, and they realize that they didn't have kavanah by Poseach, they didn't have kavanah that Hashem opens up His hand and provides for us in this world, so they have to go back. But the shaila that comes up that the poskim discuss, what happens later in Psukei D'Zimra, later on during the davening, he realizes that he did not have the proper kavanah at the pasuk of Poseach es yadecha. So if Moshe and others say that he should go back on the spot, he should stop at the end of that parak wherever he is. He should go back and say Poseach es yadecha through to the end of Ashrei, not just that one pasuk, but those last 4 or 5 psukim from Poseach es yadecha through to the end of Ashrei, and then continue where they are in Psukei D'Zimra. And Rav Moshe explains you should do this in order to have this shevach, this praise of Poseach es yadecha, being surrounded by the 2 brachos, like we mentioned last week, the brachos of Baruch Shamar in the beginning and Yishtabach at the end. So it's an important halacha to remember, and the poskim say this is by mincha, by Ashrei Uvalatzion, and by mincha as well, a person should be makbid. Just one final note, there's an interesting thing, many people have the minhag to open up their hands during Poseach es yadecha, and this is something that's not brought down in Shulchan Aruch, it's not brought down in the Gemara. So the Shiloh was asked to the Ben Ish Chai in the Shilohs and Shuvas, Torah Lishma, what's with this business of opening up your hands? Maybe it's improper to do, and the same thing with Tashlich, when people shake out their pockets. So you respond to no, it's proper to do, even though it's not mentioned by the Arizal, it's proper to do this, and he says 2 reasons. He says, one, because the koach of dimyon in this world, you have many examples in Tanakh where you do something here and it effectuates something in Shemayim. That's one reason. He says 2, because there's a special shefa from the Rebbeinu Shalom that happens when a person says that pasuk, and a person who's opening up their hand is acting to the Rebbeinu Shalom like they're willing to be makabel that shefa from the Rebbeinu Shalom.